So the question's always been, should you buy or should you rent? Not sure. Am I wasting money? Am I not wasting money? Everybody's always saying that by renting, you're throwing your money away. Some people will argue the fact that if you're home ownership is just another waste of money because you can be investing that into properties and creating cash flow. So it could be argued either or, but today I wanted to talk about kind of briefly like renting versus owning and go from there. So some pros and cons, but hey, listen, my name is Steve. I'm from Suarez Realty Group in the Los Angeles San Gabriel Valley. Got my cup of coffee in hand. I'm actually having some coffee. It's from Rad's Coffee in downtown Covina. And I was actually lucky enough to have been gifted some coffee from a friend of mine. So thank you so much for that. And then I've got my West Covina CrossFit sweater on, and that's where I go work out. And they're a great group of owners and friends there. And it's more like family than anything. So if you guys are ever in town or you guys want to work out, give me a text or just drop on by. We could do both. That'd be awesome. So like I said, there's really no right or wrong to it. It's just a matter of where you're at in your life, what you want to do. Some people will argue the fact that, renting is like throwing money away, but in reality, I don't believe it is, because for one person to the next, it's just a matter of where you're at financially. And one thing is for sure, we all have some sort of housing expense. So we have to live somewhere, whether you're renting or you're owning. So it's where you're at, right? So no right or wrong here. But hey, listen, as far as like some of the pros to owning a home would be the ownership of the home, right? So as time goes on and you make your payments, you're actually getting 1 month or one step closer to becoming the prime owner of the home itself. So, and that's just a great feeling to have. You're also building equity at the same time, which if you decide that you want to pull out some equity from that home, you're going to be able to do that and do other things with it as well, right? So there's some things to it. So some of the pros to being the homeowner is, like I said, is you're the primary owner. So you could do whatever the hell you want to do with your house, right? So you can paint it a different color, you can knock down walls, you could extend it, you could add a patio or tear down the patio, you can have parties whenever you want, you can do whatever you want basically, right? So it's a great feeling. You don't have to ask for permission other than your neighbors because they might not like you having parties all the time. But as far as like asking a landlord or property management for things, you're not going to have to do that. So that's just awesome feeling to have that, right? So, and then as far as like some of the other things that you're going to benefit from owning a house would be the fact that as you're paying it down, if you have a fixed mortgage rate, your payment's going to be the same on a monthly basis and on a yearly basis. So unless you have an adjustable rate, it's going to stay the same. So you're going to always be able to budget for that. I always recommend having 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund just in case things happen. So that's the beauty about owning and having a fixed rate on the mortgage, right? The other things is you're going to have some interest rates or some interest that you might be able to deduct at the end of the year when you do your taxes. There are some tax benefits to owning a house as well too. So, but like I said, some of these things could be argued, but for this video itself, that's just kind of some of the pros. Now, some of the cons to owning a house, and there are some cons to owning a house because fortunately for me, I've been able to own a house all my life, and if I were to add up all the expenses that I've had to fix on the house, forget about it. Like, I don't even want to know. But hey, so there are some cons to owning the house, and that's, like I said, repairs. Owning a house, you're always going to have something to fix. Whether if you have a new house, then it's going to be a lot less, but as the house gets older, just like anything else, you're going to have to replace the roof, you're going to have to replace the plumbing, you're going to have to replace some sort of fixture, something's going to break, and it's just part of being an owner, and you don't have that luxury of calling the landlord or the property management to come fix it. So that's a big con to owning a house, right? The other con to owning a house is you're going to have property taxes. You're going to have like insurance. It's not like renter's insurance. You're going to have property insurance, So you've got not only expenses, now you've got all these other expenses like property taxes and insurance and stuff like that. So those are some cons there to owning the house, But honestly, I think one of the biggest things to owning the house, as far as the con goes, would be the fixing. Just having those constantly having to put money into fixing the house and keeping it up, because most of these houses are made with wood or old plumbing, and it does need to get repaired and does need to get fixed at some point, especially if you buy an older home. And kind of like myself, I have a house that has a big tree and the roots got into throughout the years and stuff like that. The plumbing went out or the sewage line went out, and it cost quite a bit of pennies to fix that. So always recommend having 3 to 6 months of expenses, just because Murphy's Law is going to happen and something will happen, right? So there's that. Now, as far as renting, when you're a renter, some of the pros to renting is location, amenities. At some point, you have the luxury of calling a property manager or the landlord to have some things fixed, so you really don't have to worry about anything. So if your roof is leaking, you're just calling the property management or the landlord itself, and they're going to come fix it. If you have some appliances that are not working, your AC stops working, you just make that phone call and they should be on it right away, right? So that's some of the pros to renting. Again, you have the luxury as well too. If once your lease is up, you don't have to stay there. You could leave. Not with a house. Like if you have a house, it's kind of hard to say, hey, listen, I'm going to pack up and leave for 3 months, because you can rent it out and you can get it ready, but it's just a little bit more of a hassle to do that, right? So with renting, you could just go once your lease is over, or you might even be able to break your lease because you're on a month-to-month. So that's that. Now, some of the cons to to renting would be just on a year-to-year basis, rent is always going up, and especially out here in Los Angeles, rent is probably just as much as a mortgage payment, right? So it's really difficult it's a little bit harder to rent out here in LA, I believe, or any big city like New York and stuff like that, because rent is always going up, and it just makes it hard for a lot of people and stuff like that. So that's a big con to owning. And then you got renter's insurance. You have as you're paying down, as you make your monthly payments on a rent, you're not getting any closer to ownership. It's just putting money into somebody else's pocket and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, as far as if that's what you can only do, right? So there's really no wrong to that, but that's just a con to being a renter, right? So you're not actually going to get anything from it. But again, that could be argued, because if you're renting and you're an investor, some people would prefer to rent and then put the money that they're saving on the rent to buying some other property, maybe out of state or within state, and so on and so on. So it's you can just go like this with renting and buying and stuff. So there's really no right or wrong. I'm gonna have some links down below, give you guys some more websites to visit so you can read about it. But if you guys have any questions, I'd love to talk to you guys about it. If you guys need any help with anything, or like I said, if you guys want to go have some cup of coffee, maybe go work out, give me a text, send me a message. I'd love to do that with you guys. So thanks for visiting. Again, my name is Steve. I'm from Suarez Realty Group, and I work out in the Los Angeles San Gabriel Valley out here in Southern California. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. Happy holidays.